you are struggling with sin, whether you're struggling with negative thoughts, whether you're struggling with anxiety, depression, whether you're struggling with suicidal thoughts or even self-harm, take it as it is. Hello and welcome to Bible and Chill with myself, Bongiwe. In today's episode, we are having our very first Thinking Out Loud session where basically I am spewing my thoughts, sharing my thoughts and my feelings regarding a certain topic or just a random thought that popped up into my head. So the other day, I think I was washing the dishes and I found myself thinking that, when you have one of those days where you are in your feels, yes, in your feels as some may call it, or you are going through a lot in those moments and you are struggling to find even a pinch of positivity to drop into your spirit and be able to get you through the day. In those days where you are like, not today. I can't even get out of bed. I can't do the things that need to be done in order for me to achieve my goals for today. All I can do today is be able to breathe, and that's it. And then as a person of faith, you find yourself struggling with the fact that maybe you shouldn't even be feeling like that. Like, how can I, a whole Christian, feel depressed? How can I feel anxious? How can I feel so low? Maybe I am not praying enough. Maybe I am not reading the word enough. Maybe I am not listening to some Christian music or worship or praise enough, right? And you even wonder if you are not doing enough as a Christian in those moments. And we find ourselves pulling away from God or stepping away from God, and you're like, God, listen, right now I am not okay. And when I am ready and when I have doubts with the way that I am feeling right now, and when I am in the right headspace, I will come back to you. But on the other hand, that's the very same God that created you as a human being with all these intricate feelings, all these intricate thinking or thought processes, yes, thought processes and feelings and emotions, right? So why do we feel the need to step away from him in those moments when we should be going to him more than anyone, because he knows us more than anyone on this earth, because he's the one who created us. What I don't understand is where this need to be perfect comes from, where this need to always be positive comes from. Like, somehow when you are feeling on the low, it's like, hey, maybe you don't have enough faith. You don't have enough faith to deal with every problem that you're facing right now. And or if you talk to someone, they're like, pray about it. That's it. Just pray about it. But in that moment, I think, so this is my random thought, I think that why do we feel the need to just blanket the problems with prayer? Not to say that we do not need prayer. Don't hear me very well. In those moments, it's not like we should ignore the problem or we should ignore the way that our feelings or our feels or our emotions or our mental health in that particular space and time and just cover it up with prayer. However, we should take it up to God through prayer in those moments where you are vulnerable or when you're feeling your lowest. The person who was like that in the Bible was actually David. So my Pastor M.M. Zulu, from my local church, Rivers of Life International Church, he is currently going through a series called A Man After God's Heart. Basically, we were studying the characteristics of David. And so I took it upon myself to actually start reading the book of Psalms, because I think that is when the demonstration between David and God, basically the relationship between David and God, where we're able to get a picture of it. And one thing I noticed about David, in as much as he praised God like nobody's business, he worshipped God like nobody's business, but also He acknowledged his weaknesses. He did not just shove them away and say, and pack them in a box and then prayed over the box, but he would basically unpack the box and be like, God, so I am dealing with A, B, and C. And no one else can help me be able to deal with A, B, and C if it is not you. Basically, he would lay himself bare, vulnerable, vulnerable as it was, dark as it possibly was at sometimes, or sad as it was, or on the low as he might have felt, feeling low as he might have felt. But he would take it right there. All his weaknesses would lay them bare in front of God and be like, I can't do this on my own. So what are we going to do about A? What are we going to do about B? What are we going to do about C? Because sometimes we feel the need to be able to step away from God's presence so that we fix ourselves, then go back to Him when we are okay. But when we are not okay, that's when we need to be stepping closer to Him more than anything. That's when we need to be calling on Him more than anything. Not to hide the fact that we are feeling a certain way, but to take it as it is, raw as it is, negative as it is, unworthy as you may say it is, whether you are struggling with sin, whether you're struggling with negative thoughts, whether you're struggling with anxiety, depression, whether you're struggling with suicidal thoughts or even self-harm, take it as it is. Take it to Him and be like, this is my struggle. You know me more than anything. You know me more than anyone. And in this moment, I do not have the strength to be dealing with this. The only strength that I have today is to literally just breathe the whole day. That's all I have. And then the next day, be like, God, today, all I have, the strength that I have is to just eat, nothing else. And you need to be able to put yourself in a vulnerable position with Him, because that is how you create a relationship. You don't just go to Him when you are okay, but it's but you also let Him in even when you're not okay. You also let Him in when you don't, even when you don't feel like worshiping or praising Him, and be like, okay, so today I can't open the Word. Can you give me strength? Today I cannot pray. Can you give me strength? Instead of feeling ashamed of how you're feeling, instead of feeling ashamed of your emotions and your thoughts and your weaknesses, go to Him. Thing is, we go through a lot as human beings. We face a lot of challenges. We have a lot of traumas that we have dealt with in the past and possibly in the present. Even in the present. And we can't just forget about them. Just because you have chosen to be Christian, just because you've been called to be Christian, does not mean that you can just forget. It will just be gone from your memories and gone from your emotions, or gone from your thoughts. It will be there, and sometimes it will hurt you and you will be reminded of the pain. But in that moment where you are all broken, in that moment where all your scars are right there, are all laying bare, don't ignore them. Acknowledge the fact that you need healing, and who best to heal you than God Himself. That was my thoughts for today. See you next time when we grab our Bibles and chill.